Hi, students. I hope you're all doing well. I know that we are really starting to dig into our problem solution essay, and I thought it would be helpful after I've graded all of those outlines to just go over a few things. A lot of you had some issues, and I think because we've taken a break from writing, you just needed to revamp some of your ideas about paragraph formation and just get a refresher on some of those. So I want to go through, I created my own problem solution outline and then I did a sample body paragraph. And I want to go over both of these because I think it'll be helpful before you dive into your rough draft this week. So let's start here with the introduction. I created a hook. 1 in 7 reported runaways in the US in 2018 is likely a victim of child sex trafficking. For my background information, I use sex trafficking is a worldwide issue, but it is becoming more of a problem here in the United States. It is an issue that is not catering to only one population. Those in poverty, those who are wealthy, those of every race and every gender are being preyed upon and exploited every day. However, while the issue is clearly affecting the population at large, it seems that it is getting worse rather than showing any signs of improvement. The exploitation, sexualization, and trafficking of children is a problem that calls for greater education within local police forces and education systems in order for adults to help these victims and hopefully prevent trafficking altogether. And then I also meant to include another part of this thesis calling for stricter law enforcement. So we could do another sentence here along the lines of, along with this education reinforcement, the judicial system needs to create and enforce stricter laws that hold the ring of traffickers accountable and establish fear for their crimes. So, what I want you to really notice about this thesis statement is it's a two-part thesis statement. I have very clearly identified a problem here. And then on the second part, I have very concrete solutions. You cannot have a thesis statement for a problem solution essay without both of those components. This is where I saw a lot of you really struggling. A lot of you did well. You created a hook that grabbed the attention of your reader. You had some decent background information. Some of you forgot that second component of your thesis, the solution component, but most of you did well on the introduction part. Where a lot of you struggled was the body paragraph area. And I think for a lot of you, and I did not include sources on mine just because y'all know how to look for sources. We're experts at that. What I really saw is that some of you were going back to this idea of summarizing research, and you, instead of creating topic sentences, you were basically just telling me what the article was about. Or you were giving me facts, which are really explanatory sentences instead of addressing your topic. So for your problem paragraphs, each topic sentence should contribute to how you are proving that this is a problem. In your problem paragraphs, you should never have solutions. That's for the second half of your essay. So I want to show you an example of what I'm looking for in these topic sentences. For the problem section of the paper, here are some examples. One of the many issues in sex trafficking is the fact that many of these victims are trafficked by someone they know and love. Okay. This contributes to the problem of sex trafficking. Once these victims are under the influence of an adult they know and trust, they experience mental, physical, and emotional trauma that's challenging to reverse. Again, this is what is proving that sex trafficking is a problem. Many times, the result of that trauma causes these victims to stay in their circumstances. They lose their desire to escape the slavery and feel a sense of false security with their trafficker. Again, contributing to the problem. Teachers and often police often notice signs of victimology, but because they are not fully educated on the issue, they do not know how to proceed in ways that help the victim. Again, once more, this is contributing to the problem. The laws in place are not harsh enough to place fear in the victims in the trafficking community. Many perpetrators often get away with their crimes, giving victims little confidence in the judicial system. Guys, all of these paragraphs, all of these topics address this idea right here in your thesis. They prove that that is a real issue. The first half of your paper, that's all you're doing. You are proving, you are arguing that this is a real problem because you're going to have some people say, oh, that doesn't exist. Or, well, is that even really an issue? You are spending the first half of the paper proving to them that yes, it is in fact a problem. The second part of the paper addresses the solutions. So what I want you to clearly see here are should be topic sentences for body paragraphs that only address the problem. The second half should only be addressing solutions. So as you can see here, I end here with this problem and then I immediately go into my first solution. Teachers and local police force need education that fully equips them to see the signs of sex trafficking, along with a guide in who to contact in order to help these victims. Then you go to the next paragraph. Specific counselors need to be put in place for each victim and the victim's guardian in order to guide them through the judicial process as well as the healing process. And then finally, the laws need to become stricter, creating a sense of fear and accountability in the trafficking community. Guys, this is a clear path to fixing this problem. You didn't see me address 10 different solutions. You see me, I have a concrete pathway of, okay, first we're going to educate. Then we're going to put these counselors and a guide in place so that people know what to do. And then, if unfortunately it does happen, because it will, then we're going to create stricter laws that create a sense of fear and accountability into this trafficking community. So, you see this very clear pathway of how I plan to combat this problem. A lot of you gave very vague solutions. You said, oh, we're going to educate. But then I was left with the question of, well, who do you plan to educate? How do you plan to educate? What are you going to do with that education? You've got to be concrete in your solution. It's kind of like when you're proposing a business plan. If you don't have a clear plan, nobody is going to fund what you're doing. You've got to be concrete in your ideas. And then again, conclusion, a lot of you were fine with this. I reviewed the key points. I had a restatement of my thesis, and then I had this call to action right here. And again, guys, I did not include sources. I expected you guys to do that because you are doing research. But for each of these, you should have sources supporting your paragraphs. Now, I want to show you an example of a body paragraph before you get started and really get moving on your rough draft, because I think some of you need a review because you were struggling so badly with topic sentences in your outline. So let's go back to the outline, and I want you to see that for my problem paragraph 1, this is what I'm proving. One of the many issues in sex trafficking is the fact that many of these victims are trafficked by someone they know and love. Okay. So here in my paragraph, you clearly see that as my topic sentence. That's the topic that I'm addressing. And then I go into my explanation. Part of the issue with this idea is there is already an established trust between the trafficker and the victim. The trafficker is able to coerce the victim into going places with them, speaking to other people in their circle, and following instructions. Then I have my research component. A sex trafficking expert, Margaret Berry, states these victims often go unnoticed because their trafficker is a coach, an uncle, a friend of the family, or a neighbor. There is an established relationship not only between the trafficker and the victim, but amongst the victim's guardians. And as you can see, I have the name in the introductory phrase, and then I have the page number in the parenthetical expression. And I also want you to note You have the quotation mark right here in the period at the end of that citation. Then, in my own words, I address that research. Barry's research proves the problematic reality of how these victims fall prey to this industry in such an easy way. The industry is literally and figuratively all around them. When the trafficker is a person that is trusted and known, the victims are fearful that few people will believe what is actually occurring, especially if they are a child. And then again, I use another piece of research. At times, they are even told that nobody will believe them by their trafficker. Children want to believe the adults in their lives, even those who may hurt them. When the trafficker makes them feel as though they cannot share their victimization with others, they close themselves off to all adults in their lives. These traffickers go unnoticed, and the victims become silent because it is often someone within their sphere of trust and love and within the already established community. Guys, what I want you to see, all of this, all of the yellow, which those are your topic sentence and your summative sentence, okay? All of the green, those are my words. Those are my explanations. So I have my topic sentence here. I have my explanation of why that topic is true, the research that supports those ideas, and then I explain the research before I go back into another idea and use research once more. The thing that I want to really drive home to all of you is that this paragraph is not a summary of research. It's not a analysis of research. They are my ideas, and then the research is used as support for those ideas. Okay. You cannot neglect paragraph formation. I know it's been a few weeks since we've done it because we've been studying our literature component, but you've got to come back to topic sentences, explanations, research, explanation of that research, and then back again into your own ideas. You cannot make the research do the work for you. You've got to do your own work and then have the research support your work. All right. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. I know that we're jumping into a lot and these last few weeks are going to fly by. So do not hesitate to reach out. And I look forward to hearing from y'all and reading your work this week. Have a great week.